economic growth by expanding global demand for American products and services. That's why there has always been a robust bipartisan consensus around strengthening America's leadership at these global institutions. Over the past year, these institutions have continued to make smart and cost-effective investments to meet urgent needs. They leverage our dollars to mobilize additional funding from our partners in the
Deposits of the economic impact payments appeared in some bank accounts 2 weeks ago. For those in poverty, though, bank accounts are a luxury they cannot afford. And that leaves the question, how do they get their money now? Jenna Cisneros reports.
Legal Aid Line, can I help you?
When it comes to stimulus checks and those in poverty, Regina Campbell doesn't know what to tell people to expect.
Shocking news has been released, and there are several new plans put together by Republicans and Democrats, and they're trying to get things done for the American people. Now, there has been no shortage of Republican lawmakers bickering over Social Security in recent weeks because, as Republicans and Democrats have pointed out, fingers over which party wants to fix the program and which one wants to undermine it. Well, there are several problems with this. Because during a Senate Finance Committee hearing, the Senate Republicans accused the Treasury Secretary of lying about President Biden's willingness to work with lawmakers on Social Security reform. That followed a similar exchange between Republican Mitt Romney and Shalonda Young. Now, in this separate hearing, Romney said that she was simply wrong and not honest to suggest that current members of Congress want to cut off Social Security and Medicare. With so much hostility between the political parties, it's hard to see any hope of bipartisan Social Security reform that is. The only solution with even a whiff of bipartisan support is a proposal to raise this full retirement age for Social Security beneficiaries. That proposal announced last month is being pushed by the Cassidy senators and the Louisiana Republican and also the Senator Angus King, a Maine independent who caucuses with Democrats. The two are leading a group of legislators that aim to raise the full retirement age 70 to 67. Raising the full retirement age is seen as one of the ways to lessen the impact of the coming insolvency of Social Security's old age and survivors insurance, which finances about 20 to 1/4% of Social Security benefits. It is. The fund is expected to run out of money by the middle of the decade, meaning that Social Security will have to rely solely on payroll taxes for funding. That could be a big problem that people run into. Now, raising the full retirement age isn't a good idea for so many people too, because it does have bipartisan support among the registered voters, and though not necessarily raising all the way to age 70, a 2022 survey of more than 2,500 registered voters found that 75% of respondents favored gradually raising the age from 67 to 68, a move that would eliminate an estimated 14% of the funding shortfall. Now, support was evenly split between Republicans and Democrats, but other solutions with bipartisan support among voters include making more wages subject to the payroll tax, increasing Social Security withholding, and reducing benefits for the high earners. But for now, much of the focus is on whether to raise the full retirement age. Not everyone supports the data, because Social Security advocates and many lawmakers have pushed back against the proposal because of the national, political, financial impact it would have on seniors who are already struggling to make ends meet. Plus, folks, I also want you to know this. The National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare, which is a non-profit advocacy group, is raising the full retirement age and cutting benefits for anybody retiring before the new full retirement age. So this means U.S. consumers struggled immensely in 2022 as inflation soared from the start of the year through the end of it. A lot of people closed out the year in debt because that's what it took to keep up with inflation. But while inflation is higher than the average, it's slowly but steadily cooling. It's not done all the way, but at least we're making some progress on this. Because while falling inflation is great news for consumers, and particularly budget-conscious retirees, it could spell trouble for the Social Security recipients. That's not something that's good. So what Joe Biden needs to do is send out stimulus payments as soon as possible. Recessions can adversely impact Social Security's long-term financial health 3 different ways. First, the payroll tax revenue, it may be affected. The payroll tax brings in most of the program's revenue, and during recessions, it's not uncommon for the unemployment rate to rise and for workers to lose the wage guard bargaining power. If a recession adversely impacts payroll tax collection, it can accelerate the timeline to reduce the benefits. That means less people will be getting stimulus checks. Now, folks, here's the most important stimulus, Social Security news, and stimulus information that you want. Continue watching this video so you don't miss out on this. current inflation rate, economists are expecting that Social Security checks will only increase a small amount next year. This is a big issue, as millions of Americans rely on the program. Democrats are meeting and trying to come up with ways to prevent a drastic decrease in monthly benefits. For most retired Americans, though, Social Security isn't just some check that comes in the mail or is deposited into their checking account once monthly. Rather, it's a vital source of income that helps seniors make ends meet. The program is responsible for pulling nearly 22 million people out of poverty each year, 16 million of which are adults ages 65 and up. And since '02, at least 80% of surveyed retirees have told the National Pollster that Social Security benefit is a major or minor source of income. And because of the important role Social Security plays in the financial well-being of seniors during retirement, there's arguably no more event more than anticipated in the program's annual COLA during the second week of October every single year. Social Security's COLA is the raise that the program passes along to beneficiaries most years to account for inflation, the rising price of goods and services, raises in quotation marks to represent that this is an increase in benefits designed to match the rate of inflation and not to outpace it, which can happen with a more traditional raise from an employer. The program has had a consistent inflationary tether with the CPIW. CPIW was a handful measure that spending categories and list of subcategories last year. These weighings are what allows the cost of living adjustment to be calculated, and Social Security's COLA for the current year is historically high. This 8.7% increase has received the biggest year-over-year percentage increase in benefits in 41 years. The average retiree enjoyed a yearly $150 increase to the monthly Social Security check in 2023, but a roughly 2 to 3% COLA would equate to a more modest $37 to $55 boost per check, and based on a report released last year, the purchasing power for a Social Security dollar has declined by an almost 40% since 2000. What $100 in Social Security income could buy in 2000 now can buy only $60 worth in today's economy. And currently, lawmakers in the U.S. are considering changes to this entitlement program just to make sure things can go well for the people. Now, currently, people can retire as early as 62 and receive the benefits earlier than that. But what's important to note is that not until age 70 that the highest amount of benefits are awarded for the delayed retirement credit, even though the full retirement age is currently 67 for most people. So the economists are pushing for a $8,000 fourth stimulus check, everybody. This will be a one-time inflation relief check, and these checks can be automatically deposited to eligible households and Americans that receive the monthly benefit checks. So, for instance, New Mexico is already sending out $400 checks. Another state like Maine is sending out $800 payments. So, everybody, it's pretty good to see that President Biden, Republicans, and Democrats, and governors are doing what it takes to send out stimulus payments and help out the American people and send out stimulus checks before it's too late, because President Biden definitely has the authority to do so. We're just waiting on President Biden to take some action.